हम आगे बढ़ते हैं अपने अगले सेगमेंट की ओर। हमारा अगला सेगमेंट है आइस स्केटिंग के ऊपर। ये पूरा क्या कॉन्सेप्ट है, ये किस तरह का स्पोर्ट है? अगर देखा जाए तो आइस हॉकी की अगर हम बात करते हैं, ये एक विंटर स्पोर्ट है। एंड यस, अ गुड न्यूज इज दैट इट हैज नाउ स्टार्टेड समवेयर टेकिंग एंड वॉकिंग द ट्रेंड इवन इन इंडिया नाउ। वी हैव प्लेयर्स कमिंग अप टेकिंग एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन इन आइस हॉकी, एंड दैट्स व्हाट शैल बी द फोकस ऑफ आवर नेक्स्ट सेगमेंट टुडे, व्हिच इज आइस हॉकी। दिखाते हैं एक छोटी सी आपको इसके ऊपर एक क्लिप।
एक एग्जीबिशन मैच इस समय खेला जा रहा है कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन और भारत की टीमों के दरमियान। आइस हॉकी कनाडा का राष्ट्रीय खेल और भारत में यह खेल अपनी उपस्थिति दर्ज कराता हुआ इस तरीके की प्रतियोगिता के माध्यम से पहली बार भारत में अवसर, जबकि आर्टिफिशियल टर्फ पर मुकाबले खेले जा रहे हैं। अन्यथा भारत में कश्मीर में, लद्दाख में या फिर उत्तराखंड में जो मुकाबले होते हैं वो नेचुरल टर्फ पर आयोजित किए जाते हैं। बहुत तेज रफ्तार से खेला जाने वाला यह खेल आइस हॉकी यूरोपीय देशों में काफी प्रचलित। बहुत ही बढ़िया रिवर्स हिट, गोलकीपर को चकाता हुआ 1-0 की बढ़त। कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन भारत में इस खेल को बढ़ावा देने में अहम भूमिका निभाई है भारतीय टीम के लिए, लेकिन गोलकीपर उनसे भी ज्यादा। और ये काउंटर अटैक और बढ़िया डिफेंस भारतीय गोलकीपर का, अन्यथा निश्चित तौर पर यहां दूसरा गोल हो सकता था कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन के पक्ष में। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय आइस हॉकी महासंघ में भारत की उपस्थिति 1989 में दर्ज हुई। एक और गोल कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन की ओर से पूरी तरीके से एक्सपोज किया भारतीय गोलकीपर को। अच्छा पास, मौका भारत के लिए, लेकिन अच्छा गोल रक्षण कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन के द्वारा। अकेले ही आक्रमण का दारोमदार भारत की ओर से। एक सफलता मिलती हुई भारतीय टीम को। पहला गोल भारत की ओर से। एक और अटैक बिल्डअप करने की तैयारी। अच्छा पास, रिवर्स हिट, गोल करने में कामयाबी भारतीय टीम को। पहले बढ़िया प्रयास रिवर्स हिट के द्वारा और उसके बाद रिबाउंड पर मौका। एक और काउंटर अटैक तेज तर्रार। अच्छा अवसर, बहुत ही बढ़िया तालमेल, खूबसूरत गोल। शानदार खेल का प्रदर्शन भारतीय टीम के द्वारा। एक और अटैक, लेकिन उसको अच्छे तरीके से विफल करने में कामयाबी। खूबसूरत गोल। काउंटर अटैक भारत की ओर से। अमित अपने कब्जे में किया, बैक पास बढ़ाया। इस बार तेज तर्रार शॉट, अमित पहुंचे गोल मुख पर, लेकिन गोलकीपर किसी भी कीमत पर मैदान छोड़ने को तैयार नहीं। सराहनीय खेल का प्रदर्शन भारतीय टीम के द्वारा। इस बात के मद्देनजर कि कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन के खिलाड़ी ज्यादा अभ्यस्त हैं। बहुत ही बढ़िया गोल, रिबाउंड पर गोल किया अमित ने। 3 का मुकाबले 5 गोल से बढ़त दिला दी है। एक और अवसर, जोरदार अटैक कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन की ओर से और यह गोल। फॉरवर्ड को ब्लॉक करने की कोशिश, गोलकीपर मुस्तैद और यह गोल। कोई भी डिफेंडर वहां पर मौजूद नहीं। तो 5-5 की बराबरी। कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन 5, भारतीय टीम 5। मौका भारत के पास, कोशिश, लेकिन गोल करने में कामयाबी और बेहतरीन गोल। पलक झपकते स्थितियां बदलती हैं। कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन के पास मौका और ये गोल। 6-6 की बराबरी और इसके साथ ही खेल समाप्त। 6-6 की बराबरी। कैनेडियन हाई कमीशन और भारतीय टीम के खिलाड़ी एक दूसरे का अभिवादन करते हुए
इस गेम को हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि इंडिया की आम जनता के पास लाएं, प्लेन्स में लेकर आएं। इसलिए ये टाई अप कर हम लोग इस गेम को एनसीआर में लाए हैं इस बारी। यहाँ पर जो रिंग साइज़ है वो इंटरनेशनल साइज़ से थोड़ा छोटा है, पर उसको मद्देनज़र रखते हुए भी थोड़ी सी चेंजेस की गई हैं गेम फॉर्मेट में।
जो ये रिंग का साइज़ है वो काफ़ी हद तक छोटी है, जिसके कारण हम फुल स्ट्रेंथ पे गेम नहीं खेल पा रहे। तो ये एक बच्चों के लिए एक यूनिक सा एक्सपीरियंस है, जो कि फर्स्ट टाइम ये 3:3 पे खेल रहे हैं। नहीं तो हम 5:5 इंक्लूडिंग गोली 6 खेलते हैं। तो ये चीज़ एक न्यू है। बाकी बच्चे लोग काफ़ी खुश है कि ये लोग आर्टिफिशियल आइस पे फर्स्ट टाइम खेल रहे हैं।
इंडिया में कहीं भी इंटरनेशनल साइज़ का रिंक नहीं है आज के दिन में, और एक रिंक जो है देहरादून में जो इंटरनेशनल साइज़ का है वो बंद पड़ा हुआ है पिछले 4 सालों से।
iSKATE ये कोशिश करता है कि इन खेलों को ये एक जनरल पब्लिक व्यू मिले, तभी हम आज एक ऐसे मुकाम पे हैं जहाँ पे हम एक नेशनल लेवल के टूर्नामेंट को कर रहे हैं, जिसमें हम लोग इंटरनेशनल खिलाड़ियों को ला पा रहे हैं। उन खिलाड़ियों को ला पा रहे हैं जो शायद कभी लेह लद्दाख से बाहर नहीं गए, क्योंकि जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, जो वेदर लिमिटेशंस वहाँ पे हैं, वो और जगहों पे इंडिया में नहीं है। तो इस वजह से आज हम एक ऐसी चीज़ होस्ट कर रहे हैं जो दिल्ली एनसीआर एरिया या साउथ इंडिया ने कभी भी नहीं देखी है।
नॉर्मली यूरोप और अमेरिका का स्पोर्ट है, हम लोग इसको इंडिया में लेकर आए हैं और यहाँ पोटेंशियल बहुत है, क्योंकि हॉकी का बहुत बोलबाला है इंडिया में।
In India, it's a very new game. So most of the games are in Ladakh, which is the north part of India. And so this rink here, iSKATE, is actually the only rink in North India in Delhi. So it's just a new growing sport, but I hope in the next few years it will become very popular in this country.
मेन थिंग ये है कि आपको फिजिकली टफ होना पड़ेगा, बैलेंस आपको माइंडली आपको बैलेंस होना पड़ेगा, और सॉफ्ट एट हार्ट होना पड़ेगा। ये आइस हॉकी के लिए बहुत ही ज़रूरी चीज़ है। यदि आप ये चीज़ आप पाते हो तो आप आइस हॉकी के लिए फिट है और आप पक्का इस गेम में अपने आप को एंटर करें।
Actually helping India in so many ways. They are bringing every year hockey equipment to as a way of creating leadership. But I see here in Delhi that we have a potential for many players to join us.
अगर आप देखें, एक प्लेयर ने अगर अपना इक्विपमेंट खरीदना है, कम से कम 30,000 रुपए की लागत आती है एक प्लेयर के इक्विपमेंट की। अगर गोली किट खरीदना है, गोली किट 60,000 से 80,000 रुपए तक भी जा सकता है। पर इसको अगले लेवल तक ले जाने के लिए गवर्नमेंट से हेल्प चाहिए होगी, टू गिव ड्यूटी सब्सिडीज, एक्साइज वेवर्स, और ये इक्विपमेंट जो है प्लेयर्स तक पहुंचाने के लिए।
We have had a lot of support from the Indian Ice Hockey Association, and we see a lot of support coming from the government in the future also. So yes, the road is bumpy, but since our associations are strong and we are moving together, we see a brighter future for ice hockey and winter sport activities in India.
And to talk about ice hockey today, we have two very special guests in the studio, and it's indeed a pleasure for me to just introduce them to all of you. First of all, it's a pleasure to welcome over here Ankur Bhatia, who's the Executive Director of the Bird Group. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And with him joining us today is Harjinder Singh, General Secretary of the Ice Hockey Association of India.
Good evening.
Welcome to the show. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, gentlemen, as we all know, अभी हमने एक बहुत अच्छी सी clip देखी, should we say a short movie clip on ice hockey. Ice hockey, when we talk about it, we all know that this is a winter sport, and somewhere the fact that it's gradually just taking the trend in the Indian domain also now in itself is a very good achievement for us. But let's come to the fact that yes, as we were just pre-discussing also, you've organized the sixth senior tournament and the third junior one that's just happened in ice hockey.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers थोड़ा सा पहले तो ice hockey अपने आप में एक concept है क्या?
Ice hockey, actually, the first time Britishers played ice hockey in Shimla ice skating rink. That was almost 100 years back. And this sport is popular in European countries. Canada has it as its national sport.
Right.
Popular in USA and Russia. But in India it is played mainly in hilly regions because we have natural ice over there.
Okay.
The artificial rinks are, you see, are not much in India. other than we have iSKATE in Gurgaon, which is Delhi.
Right.
It's one of the biggest infrastructure facility of artificial ice in India.
Right.
And that's how we had our third juniors in Delhi. So the objective to have this in Delhi was to increase the awareness of the sport beyond the hill region.
That's nice. That's nice. So basically, अगर हम बात करें, Ankur, let me ask you, how difficult or how easy has it been for you to just set up this whole concept? Because an ice skate out being there, then having ice hockey being conducted, it's a sport that, let's just accept somewhere. One, it's very expensive. Second, obviously, it's still not reached across to the general masses to that an extent. So, how difficult has the ride been for you?
The thing is that the concept came about nearly 3 years back,
Right.
when we opened the rink. Initially, our thought was that, I mean, it was a gamble which we were playing, you know, to get the acceptability of the particular sport. But it is just not ice hockey. There is also figure skating. There is also
Right.
speed skating. There are another amount of sports which can be played. Ice skating is also very recreational because obviously you burn a lot of calories when you are
Yes.
skating as well. So, and of course, it's played on natural ice. So I mean,
Right.
there is 5 inches of ice on which real ice where you actually go. So the whole concept of actually getting natural ice in Delhi and this particular sport has actually attracted a lot of people. So I'm very happy to say that in the last 2.5-3 years, we've had nearly 1 million people who've actually come
Wow.
and skated
Nice.
on the rink.
Nice.
I never thought that this take would anyways happen, because obviously this is the first one which is happening. If you go to US or if you go to Canada or in Europe as well, there's a rink which is, you know, every 40-50 kilometers, and they're larger rinks. Unfortunately, the issue which we had was this was the largest space we could get. Our rink is situated on the 6th floor of a mall, so you know, to put ice there and get it on done was a challenge. It was a challenge by itself, and I'm happy that it's actually paid off.
That's beautiful. In fact, at the end of the day, it said na, कि अगर hard work, hard efforts pay out कर जाए, there's nothing better than that. But talking about also the tournaments जो आप conduct करवाते हैं, हरजिंदर जी, this has been the third tournament on the junior level. Let's talk slightly about these tournaments. How do you go about managing and organizing these tournaments for football?
We have to organize this in the 3-month period which we have in winters, which is on natural ice. These have happened previously in Leh, and the second one happened in Kargil. There were 2 different regions, and the idea to have them in different regions was to promote the sport in the juniors level.
Right.
National seniors have always been happening in Leh, because you get the maximum concentration of players over there.
Yes.
You have Army, you have IDPP, you have High Altitude Warfare School, you have lot many teams converging over there. Travel is a problem in winters. Obviously, teams from Delhi, Shimla, Maharashtra, they all have to fly into Leh. Reason being, I mean, the getting juniors into Delhi was to get the other teams. So we had Uttarakhand coming in this time. We had Maharashtra, we had Delhi, we had Haryana, and in all we could have a good bunch of juniors, and it's got I mean, lot of encouragement from various quarters, whether it is from iSKATE, who has been able to organize this, or it was our I mean, people, the media has also got a little bit excited about this. We have got a lot of print coverage on this.
Beautiful. One question that comes to my mind obviously is कि लेह लद्दाख, जैसे हम बात भी कर रहे थे, लेह लद्दाख में तो this is almost like a home sport over there, जहाँ पे खेला जाता है. But the other states that you happen to mention, like Maharashtra being there, New Delhi being it, यहाँ से जब players आते हैं, तो how do you actually filter the players and make them fit into the tournaments? Because how are these players basically selected for it?
See, lot many people have been doing roller skating. So an advanced level is you get into inline skating. So if you see, inline skates and ice skates are pretty similar except for the speed. Ice skating is definitely, I mean, you need more balance and more stamina for ice skating. But inline skaters who have been playing playing inline hockey, it's quite natural for them to actually adapt to ice hockey.
Right.
So given the opportunity, most of the inline skaters in India will adapt to ice hockey, provided we have a facility in each of the cities.
That is nice. So basically अगर देखा जाए, ये जो आपके बाकी सारे जितने भी regions या states है जहाँ से players आते हैं, do they have a selection criteria fixed for them? कि is it that if they've been just playing and been a part of ice skating, or for that matter ice hockey, they can just qualify to be a part of the tournament?
majorly in hilly regions. Say if the temperature goes beyond -0, beyond this thing, you have a lot of ice over there.
Yes.
Any collection of water in the morning, you will find ice over there. And people in that region actually have been playing ice hockey over there since ages. I mean, it's like playing gilli danda in each of the gullies. So each village has its own team, and they are affiliated to various clubs in the region. So these clubs actually come and participate in various tournaments, which happen say in the 2-month period from Christmas till end of February. So these clubs actually then become part of the various state teams, and that's the time when we do our nationals. So during the nationals, we actually select a team also.
Okay.
We have a selection trial. So like ITBB has various battalions over there. So they have inter-battalion championship in ITBB, and similarly you have various various regiments in Ladakh Scout is one of them in army, which actually plays inter-department, I mean inter-battalion tournaments. So they have their own team to represent
and those teams become part of the tournament then?
And then we select our national team, and we have been participating in international tournaments since 2009.
That's beautiful. That's been a long run. In fact, Ankur, since we were talking about how you just started this whole thing and it being a relatively new trend in India, 3 years back it was introduced, let's focus on the fact that how supportive has the government of India been for you on this front, because obviously this is a sport which hasn't got or caught the eyes of the glitter and the glamour still somewhere like cricket has in the country. So it'll take its time obviously, but agar government ki hum baat kare, thoda wahan pe focus kare to
for the time being, whatever we've done is completely as an entrepreneur. I mean, as we invested the money in actually independently for it's a private enterprise as we pushed it to get that particular extent. Of course, we would want a lot of support from the government, because I mean, we've got lots of youth in our country, and it's just not cricket as a sport. There is a huge potential for this sport to grow as well, and unlike other sports as well. But the only thing is that while we can play cricket, outside, you can play 24/7. You can play football 24/7. You can do athletics 24/7 because you don't need an infrastructure to do it. But for ice skating, you need ice to do it. So as far as the government is concerned, of course, I mean, we are always wanting if we could get benefit on taxation, because obviously we are running this rink, but every time somebody has to come and skate, he has to pay entertainment tax. I mean, it is a form of entertainment, but at the end of the day, it's a sport as well. So I mean, if we get a rebate on that, it'll be great. As far as infrastructure is concerned, Delhi by itself has got lots of stadiums, lots of facilities which were made, which are not being used right now. Now this, as I mentioned to you, this rink is in a mall on the 6th floor. So if we can get some facilitation from the government to get infrastructure for us, where we will put in the necessary additional infrastructure to run the ice and put the ice and run it, I think it will be great, because in India needs, or Delhi needs today Olympic-sized rink. I mean, we are not that big sized of doing that. But your adaptation of the sport, just that I said, has happened now. At iSKATE, I'm quite confident that you put a larger facility and you will attract a lot of people wanting to come in and use that not only as a sport but also for recreation. And again, I mean, you never know. I mean, you have 3 lines of sports coming at the same time, and you never know where you create a world champion.
Yes, a very good thing that just comes to my mind from what you've told me is that obviously we have these, like, we have the players over here, but this ring would also be available for the common masses.
It is,
since it's there.
Of course.
So how is the crowd feedback and how is the footfall over there?
So as I mentioned to you, I mean, this is the first time we've had a sporting event after 2 years of opening. So we started off doing with figure skating championship. We can't unfortunately do a lot with speed skating here because the length is restricted. We've done ice hockey now for this time, but before this was all recreational. In fact, people were coming in, getting on the sports on the first time, and the people who are coming in are from 2-year-old to 75-year-olds as well, who've never been on ice before. And it's a sport, so we've had people who, I mean, even broken bones, but they're back on the rink after they've done their themselves good. So there is a huge take of people wanting to come and do the sport. There's a lot of people families who want to come and do recreational activities. There are families who want to learn the sport, learn skating, and get professionalized. I mean, we've also been supportive, and I'd sort of like to mention here that the Special Olympics, which happened, which is for children who have some, who are not as normal as everybody else, or not able as everybody else. So we've sponsored some students like that who come, and they've actually won gold medals in global participation and championships. So I'm quite confident that given the opportunity, and if the government supports in terms of infrastructure and everything else, I'm sure that we'll be able to do it. Now, one of the other things which is I'd sort of also say is one of the most important things in ice skating or running a rink is electricity.
Right.
Electricity, is talk of, everybody knows that the cost of electricity is extremely high. So if that can be subsidized, of course, or there are other means where we can actually wheel electricity from other states or even natural solar thing into Delhi, I think there's a huge potential.
So basically, you're looking out for a lot of support from the government, which you haven't yet been able to.
Yeah.
But
if it happens, is without government support, if we can achieve at this particular point, if government is supported, I'm sure that we'll be able to.
Yes, obviously.
We can get the sport to a larger audience.
Very true, very true. Larger audience, and just reach across to the nation also, not just make it very Delhi-centric right now as it is. Okay, but then so much there's potential over here. And hopefully the way you're growing, it'll grow just larger. There requires to be even a training or a coaching team out there. How do you filter out your trainers and the coaches for the sport?
We get a lot of support from International Ice Hockey Federation. They have been sending their coaches. What we have identified is we have identified few coaches in India.
Okay.
So they actually come and coach the Indian coaches, and they are supposed to in turn coach the other, develop other coaches.
Okay.
So it's like a pyramid. So from one international coach, you have 8 coaches, and these 8 will develop the further 16.
So basically, it goes like a pyramid and just keeps expanding on the.
And then we have various organizations, like our national coach is from US. His name is Adam Sherlin. For last 8 years, he has been coming to India.
Nice.
And he conducts 8 days or 7 days training in various parts of India. I mean, he has been doing it in Delhi, he has been doing it in Shimla, he has been doing it in various villages in Leh. I mean, it's not confined to Leh. I think he does almost 8 camps.
Nice.
And plus he gets in another 4 coaches along with him. That is a private, which is what Ice Hockey Association of India is getting over there. But internationally also, I mean, they are willing to coach as much as they want. I mean, all the help is provided for. The equipment support is also given in, which has just started pouring in this year, but obviously there's nothing coming from Government of India.
Yes.
The Government of India can only support us by providing infrastructure.
But nonetheless, as an entrepreneur, as taking it on your own individual stance, I think it's a very good, decisive move that you've made, and it's just progressing in a very good way. To just bring it and make the picture so large right now, it's kudos and commendable and effort from both of you for that matter. In fact, Ankur especially, should we mention that? But okay, last words before we just end today's conversation over here would be that what is next in the pipeline, first of all, Ankur?
Well, I'm looking forwards to, and even as a private enterprise also, to look at putting another larger rink in Delhi and Mumbai and Bangalore and other areas where there is ample amount of youth who can come and use the facility. In terms of training, we've spent a lot of money and we keep on continuing to train our marshals of doing this thing. Now again, I hope with the association, with the Ice Hockey Association, we'll be able to train them as well and run ice hockey camps particularly as well. So I am quite confident that it's infinite is for the support. I mean, for the sport is just coming in. I mean, even just as an example, I mean, there's a dance on ice competition which happens every year in both Europe and in US. I mean, we've had nothing of that sort. I mean, it's like, I mean, we have 10 dance shows happening on Indian television circuits, but we don't have this, and this will take a great take.
Okay, so on that note, I think thank you so much, gentlemen. Here's wishing you all the luck for all your future endeavors, and may you just take this to even a larger scale and make it nationwide. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us.
We'll have ice hockey league soon.
Oh, very soon. Hopefully very soon, very soon. Wishes to all of you for that.